What if I told you that almost everything you believe about money is a lie? Not just slightly wrong, but completely backwards. I'm talking about the financial advice that's been passed down through generations, like some kind of cursed family heirloom. The budget myths that are keeping you broke while making you feel virtuous about it. Today, we're going on a myth-busting adventure that's going to flip your financial world upside down. And fair warning, some of these revelations might make you question everything your parents, teachers, and even financial advisors have told you about money. But stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll have the tools to see through the financial smoke and mirrors that have been clouding your judgment for years. Let's start with the granddaddy of all budget lies, the one that makes financial gurus rich while keeping everyone else spinning their wheels. Ready for this? The 50-30-20 rule is financial fiction designed to make you feel organized while staying broke. You know the one: 50% for needs, 30% for wants, 20% for savings. Sounds reasonable, right? Wrong. Here's what nobody tells you about this magical formula. It was created in a world where housing costs were reasonable, where a college degree guaranteed a good job, and where inflation wasn't eating your lunch money. In today's reality, if you're spending 50% on needs, you're probably already underwater before you even get to the fun stuff. But here's the real kicker. The rule assumes all income levels work the same way. A person making $30,000 a year and someone making $300,000 have completely different financial physics. For the lower earner, needs might eat up 70 or 80% of income, making the rule not just useless, but insulting. Meanwhile, the high earner could easily flip those percentages and still live comfortably. The truth? Your budget should be as unique as your fingerprint. Cookie-cutter formulas are for cookies, not for financial freedom. Now, let's tackle the second myth that's probably making you nod in agreement right now, because it sounds so virtuous. Small purchases don't matter. It's the big ones that count. This is the financial equivalent of saying, calories don't count if you eat them standing up. Picture this scenario. You skip your daily coffee to save money, feeling proud as you walk past the coffee shop with your head held high. Meanwhile, you're paying for 3 streaming services you barely use, a gym membership you forgot about, and insurance that's way more expensive than it needs to be. You're picking up pennies while dollars fly out of your back pocket. The reality is that small, recurring expenses are financial termites. They're quietly eating away at your foundation while you're looking for bigger problems to solve. That seemingly innocent subscription here, that small convenience fee there, they add up to hundreds or even thousands of dollars a year. But here's where it gets really interesting. These small purchases often reveal your true spending psychology. They're automatic, mindless, and therefore incredibly revealing about your relationship with money. Fix the small stuff, and you often fix the big stuff too. Ready for myth number 3? This one's going to hurt, because it attacks something we've been told is sacred. Emergency funds should be your top priority. Wait, don't throw your phone at the wall just yet. Hear me out. The traditional advice says to save 3 to 6 months of expenses before doing anything else with your money. Sounds prudent, doesn't it? But what if you have high-interest debt? What if you have 0 retirement savings at 40? What if there's an opportunity to increase your income, but you need to invest in yourself first? Here's the uncomfortable truth. While you're dutifully building that emergency fund, earning practically nothing in a savings account, your credit card debt is growing at 20% interest. You're essentially borrowing money at 20% to lend it to the bank at 1%. That's not financial wisdom. That's mathematical madness. The smarter approach? Build a small emergency buffer, maybe $1,000. Then attack high-interest debt like your financial life depends on it. Because it does. Once that's handled, then you can think about building a larger emergency fund. But even then, 6 months of expenses sitting in a savings account might not be the best use of your money. Now for myth number 4. And this one hits close to home. For anyone who's ever felt guilty about money, wanting nice things makes you financially irresponsible. This myth turns financial management into a punishment diet, where any enjoyment is seen as weakness. Here's what this myth gets wrong. It assumes that all spending on wants is created equal. Buying an expensive coffee every day for a year and saving up for a high-quality winter coat that will last a decade are both want purchases, but they have completely different financial impacts. The real secret? Quality wants can actually save you money long-term. That expensive coffee maker might cost more up front, but pays for itself if it keeps you from buying coffee out. Those pricier shoes might seem extravagant until you realize they last 5 times longer than cheap ones. The key is intentional spending on things that align with your values and lifestyle, not mindless consumption. There's a massive difference between conscious splurging and unconscious bleeding of money. Let's destroy myth number 5, the one that makes people feel helpless about their financial future. Your income determines your wealth. This myth suggests that if you're not making 6 figures, financial success is impossible. It's the perfect excuse for inaction, wrapped in a reasonable-sounding package. Reality check time. Wealth isn't about how much you make. It's about how much you keep and what you do with what you keep. There are plenty of high earners living paycheck to paycheck, drowning in lifestyle inflation, and keeping up with the Joneses. Meanwhile, there are moderate earners building serious wealth through smart money management and strategic investing. The income myth also ignores the power of increasing your earnings over time. Your current income isn't your permanent financial destiny. Skills can be developed, side hustles can be started, careers can be changed, and passive income can be built. Here's myth number 6, and it's particularly dangerous because it sounds so responsible. You should never touch your retirement savings. This absolute thinking ignores the complexity of real-life financial situations and can actually cost you money in certain circumstances. Sometimes borrowing from yourself makes more sense than borrowing from others. If you can loan yourself money at a lower rate than you'd pay elsewhere and pay yourself back with interest, it can be a smart financial move. The key is understanding the rules, taxes, and opportunity costs involved. As we wrap up this myth-busting session, remember that personal finance is exactly that, personal. The one-size-fits-all advice industry wants you to believe in universal truths because they're easier to package and sell. But your financial life is unique, complex, and deserves strategies that actually fit your situation. I'll link the Money Foundation below if you want more structure. The biggest lie of all might be that there's only one right way to handle money. The truth is, there are many paths to financial success, and yours might look completely different from everyone else's. The goal isn't to follow someone else's rules perfectly. It's to understand the principles behind the rules so you can make intelligent decisions for your specific circumstances. Question everything, test assumptions, and remember that the best financial advice is the kind that actually works for your life, not the kind that sounds good in a seminar. Your future self will thank you for thinking critically about money, instead of blindly following the financial folklore that keeps so many people stuck. What financial myth have you been believing? Drop it in the comments below.